went for the PR on the Bulgarian split squats with the barbell on my back, working on my stability. Got the 5 reps for 120 kilos on the left leg, struggled on the right leg. I fell over on the 3rd rep, but what I did was, instead of giving up, I just squatted it back up, double stance, and then I did the other 2 reps. Still counts, we fell over. Stability is the skill issue here, not strength. So this is great. I'm getting more stable with our unilateral leg movements. Absolutely loving them. And what I've done to take the fear out of the Bulgarian split squats and pushing it in case I fall over is, again, you just do it in a power rack, and I put the safety rails up like ridiculously high, and I just practice bailing on it. So if I fall over, I just bail on the bar. It's literally can't get injured unless I'm outside of the rack. So that's good. I think that's responsible hoisting. You know, you gotta hoist, you gotta push yourself, you gotta make sure that your safety rails are set up the correct height every time, every single time. Okay, you can't mess up on that. You can't let that slip. So many videos, people, even at a powerlifting gym, just benching in a combo rack, too lazy to set the rail height, and then they get pinned. And it's fine, you know, it's fine. It's like 1 or 2 like slots below where it should be, and you just sort of, you know, squish your guts for a minute. But you know, it's all avoidable. It's completely avoidable. So you should always set those rails high. And I think that and just film yourself as well. If you don't know the rail depth, literally just film it, look at it. You can just sort of gauge, be like, it's 10 centimeters, and just move it up. Like, it's not that hard. Or just look to the left, like at the bottom position, and then just, yeah, anyway, just ask someone for help, I guess. It's that important. You really should just get that sorted. And then there's no fear. And the sets are so good. It's the same thing as having a spotter, right? What is the point of the spotter? Is it to actually avoid injury? Yes, kind of. It's great to have someone else experience the high if you get a success, or to be there to share the burden of a loss as well. That's also great. Holy moly, that camera's zoomed in. All right, just fix that. Split the burden if you fail the set. But really, I think the point of the spotter, the point of the safety rail, is that you know that you can push 100%. If you don't have that fear, you're not throttling your own performance. And you know what happens when you take that fear away? You go, I'm not sure if I'm gonna get that 3rd rep, I'm not sure if I'm gonna get the 5th rep, so I'm gonna get the spotter in. Easiest set of your life. You could have done 8. You know, why does that happen? It's because you've been holding yourself back. Your brain holds you back because you're trying to avoid injury. It's very rational. You have to get out of your own way. That's the only way to make it. And when you're on the other side of that, when you can set up the equipment correctly so that you can remove the mental barrier, you get much more effective training. Yes, you get more fatigue, obviously, okay. But if you are programming your training correctly, alternating variations between your heavy compounds so that you don't get overuse, twinges and tweaks, that's the way to go. Holy moly. Because you can really drive towards that efficiency frontier of training, depending on your intensity, your volume level, all of this stuff, blah, 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 exercise selection. There's all of these different variables you've got, all of these levers that you can pull, and you can, different combinations of it ends up with different effective styles of training, and you can develop your own style of training as well. That's what I'm working on. Of course, you can go for an established program that works, that's proven. That's the smart move. You do that first. If you want to get a bit experimental with it, if you're passionate, if you want to spend the time tweaking it, experimenting on yourself in a little bit, listening to your body as you go along, you can definitely stumble across like a style of training, which is just a specific combination of variables, a couple of tweaks here and there, and you're golden. You know, you've got your own thing then. So that's awesome. I see. I don't know if this will make sense to anyone, but I see it as like abstract art in a way. where you have composition, you have color, you have texture, you have all of these different variables that make an abstract painting compelling. And you have to have balance, you have to have symmetry, but sometimes, the whole thing can't be balanced, because then you just have one square of green, and that's boring. So somehow there has to be imbalance, and there has to be a pull and a tug within the same frame, right? So in your training program, you have to have the same thing. It's a composition. You have to have a pull and a tug. The whole thing can't just be bland, monotone with no texture to it. That's why we ramp up the RPE scale, right? So you can have a progression of just 6, 7, 8, just linear increase in your perceived exertion. But some people don't like that. They find it boring. And what is that about? So if you have a non-linear RPE progression, you really drive it hard in that 3rd and 4th week, or whatever you're doing with your powerlifting, power building program, what is that? That's adding texture to the canvas. You don't just have one flat surface. You've got to change the brushes as well sometimes. You got to change those brushes. Sometimes you don't use a brush. Sometimes you get a little bit of wire and you scratch the canvas. And sometimes it's great. When the painting's done, that's when you spray like the setting spray on it, because you don't want the acrylic to get, like damaged in transit over time, and you've got to wait for it to dry. But also sometimes, let's run this extended metaphor out. Sometimes you wait for it to semi-dry and then you make the tweak. There's certain things you can do with a painting that can only be done when that paint has a different consistency. So you can have globules of paint on there, and when it reaches a certain consistency, you can smear, you can feather it, you can do all of these other things. So what is that applied to the training, to the program question, right? To the abstract art of hoisting and heaving? Well, sometimes there are things that you can only figure out on the fly. 2 weeks down, that's a lot of traffic, there's a lot of roadworks. Anyway, there's certain things you can only figure out as you go along, right? So 2 weeks in, that's the equivalent of letting the paint set, and then you give it a smear, right? So 2 weeks in, you give it a tweak, you try and figure out what's working. What's happening there? They're removing a roundabout. Like these are the things that happen while you sleep, people. The world gets built. And man, take that back to the training. So you have a late night session, everyone's there. Some people, I love the late nights. I really love the late nights because you have such a great mix in the demographic. You have some people that are doing gym tourism, and they're sort of, they've already sort of ascended their beginner commercial gym, and they've got great culture. They're there, they know that you can come and you can talk to people, you can be a little bit extroverted, and that even when someone's mean mugging, it's just because they're zoned out or they're disassociating during their set. Rarely someone at the gym that looks sort of like mean while they're resting is actually like a mean person. I think I do this. I have like a resting bitch face. Because you try and get like, you try to feel the music as you're going through it, because it helps the training. But the moment someone comes over and it's like, oh, nice split squats, what are you working on? It's like, oh yeah, I would take both AirPods, come out, yeah, what's your name? I'm so happy to talk to people. I really just want to help. No one comes and asks for help. I wish more people did. Anyway, you can't help everyone. Yeah, you've got this great demographic. Some people are, they're a little bit shy, and that's why they're going there at night, because they're trying not to be there with the crowd. And I love to see that as well. I love to see it, and I should probably try and encourage these people more, and sort of like extend an olive branch, or ask what they're working on, what their goals are, and help set them in the right direction. But people come to you when they're ready, like when the time is right. You can't really force advice onto people. Someone has to be open to receiving advice or feedback, constructive criticism, let's say. But I love to see it. I love to see the hustle. I love to see people that are changing their lives, that are setting out, that are, going through a transformation. You can see people, and some, maybe their gym IQ is low, in the sense that it's not talking about them, their mental ability. Okay, let's calm down in the comments. The gym IQ, their experience with the training, their training age, right? Someone can be 28 and they might have only been in a gym for 3 months, right? And someone can be 22, or someone can be 18 and they might be on their 4th year of training. So that's your gym IQ, right? It's your accumulated wisdom in the gym through your experiences. So and some people have a low, but what was I saying? Huh? And some people are really like, oh yeah, that's right. So they can have like a low gym IQ, but you can see that they've got like grit. They've got grit, perseverance, tenacity. They're there day after day, week after week. And that's talent. That's, if you're a talent scout, if you're looking for someone, I don't know why you would be, but like if you're looking for that perseverance, that dog in them, like someone's gonna have that dog in them, and even though like they don't understand everything that they're doing yet, and they're making little mistakes, like they're gonna pick themselves back up when they fail, and they're gonna figure it out. So those people, I love to see it. It doesn't matter where you are in your journey. Oh my goodness, come and talk to me, please. I will help. I will bend over backwards. Well, pause. I will bend over backwards trying to help people like you, because you really deserve it. And then some people, it's they're still getting in, they're getting the work done, but they're going through the motions. They're there maybe for other reasons. Maybe they're super busy that week. They've got like a high emotional load. Their externals are all over the place, right? Something's going on with the family. Something's going on with work projects, like just dragging on, something like that. And you can see that, it's probably not their most intense session, but they're still there. They're still turning up. It's part of their routine. They're keeping it going. The flywheel's still spinning, so that's great to see as well. It's really the people that, it's the people that aren't, that aren't putting in the work, that don't put in the work day to day. That's the problem, because it's not, it's hard. Sometimes it is good enough to just turn up. Sometimes that is your RPE8. Like you've just had just a shit week, and turning up is impressive. But holy moly, some university event at the local pub there. It was a large biomass. Just drove past. There's some, yeah. But if you've got like externals under control and you've got the recovery bandwidth, it's not enough to just show up. Like you actually have to put your heart into the training. Okay, so this whole, this'll actually get me into the algorithm finally at YouTube, finally get me recommended. But this whole ordeal with science-based training, right? So let's put this on the record. I am at the University of Queensland. No, let's put this on the record. I am at Queensland University of Technology studying a Bachelor of Biomedical Science, okay? Majoring in human physiology, minoring in cell and molecular biotechnology, okay? So I'm a man of science. Let it be known. And I read the studies, baby. I'm all over the studies, the Jeff Nippards, all of that, right? But at the same time, you can't just divorce the mental side of training from the soul of it, okay? And this is getting a bit woo-woo, because what is a soul, blah, blah, blah. But soul in training, to me, is that grit, perseverance, and tenacity. And, you get so caught up with lengthened partials and, optimal leverages and setups and isolation work and all of this sort of stuff, that you forget to train hard. And that's really going to impact your outcome more. What is the size of the effect? That's what you talk about all the time in a study. This is more optimal than something else, but what is the size of the effect? What is the magnitude? Is it a large difference? If it's a large difference, fantastic. We should all be excited about it. If it's a 1%er, it's quite a toss-up whether you should implement that in your training or whether you should Stop over analyzing every movement that you do. Find a song that you fuck with, turn it up, and just get into the groove, just feel the set. That's a 10% difference. That is backed up by science as well. They've done the studies, people. I've got the documents, they've done the studies, and song selection, like 15 minutes prior, maybe I'll link this, 15 minutes prior to your session, has like a significant, as in multiple percentages, right? Not a 1%er. Has a significant impact on strength outcomes in the session. So, and what is that? That's your warm up, that's your drive to the gym, right? So you want to be, that's why some people, I'm not ready to go yet. They drive, they get to the car park, they sit in their car, and they play some songs, and then they go in. What is that about? That's that, you know it experimentally on the field. Your session is worse if you're just not in it, if you're not feeling the session. But you can construct that. You can construct that feeling with intentional music selection, ramping up the intensity, ramping up the BPM, finding a song where you have like an emotional connection with something in it, something that just makes you put on like a stank face, something like that. That's really gonna get you some nice results. So yeah, it's my gym session debrief. And Comfy Car Chat, episode 3. I'm gonna like just redo the chat. Like, there's no sense of direction, and I know there's no cohesive narrative for anyone to follow, and there's just a bunch of like cross-posted shorts from the gram that I think I'm hilarious, so I create these reels, and then I go, I guess I need a content strategy, so I just cross-post to the YT. Which is not a real strategy. I'm gonna rework it, and I think I've got some goals that I've written down, and we're gonna work towards the mountains, right? With the fellas and the lasses, the ladies, the fellas and the ladies. We will be that penguin, striving, yearning for what is beyond, not knowing what the outcome will be, not caring what the outcome will be. We're sending it anyway. We're gonna figure it out as we go along. Like and subscribe, baby.